The Batman 2 script is finally complete, and I have a little wish list of what I want to see in the film. Vin Deisel at a recent event confirms that Paul Walker is going to be in the final Fast and the Furious movie. Jalen Ramsey was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt has some contract issues going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And lastly, LeBron James opted into his contract with the Lakers, but his future on the Lakers is still in question. I got all of that and more coming with you guys. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode of the Alpha Podcast, the show where we talk about the latest, hottest topics in the world of pop culture and sports. I am your host, Jayden, and I want to welcome you to another show. It is currently Wednesday. I've been meaning to do this show since Tuesday. I enjoyed the weekend. I went to go see some family over the weekend, and the last couple of days I've been crammed with a lot of work-related stuff. So finally, I'm able to sit in front of the microphone and talk with you guys. We got the holiday, 4th of July holiday coming up, and I hope you guys enjoy it with your friends and family. And I wish you all safe travels to your preferred destinations. I got an action-packed show for you guys, and I'm ready to get into it. Do not forget to drop a like on the podcast, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you tap that notification bell to get notified when all of my videos go live. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to episode 26 of the Alpha Podcast. After I recently just made a podcast about this, and I made a video about it last week, just got done talking about it. Mr. Matt Reeves just decides the day after I get done talking about it, maybe not even a day, probably a couple of days, to officially announce that the script for the Batman 2 is complete. He posted it on social media. I don't know what exact social media it was. And it was a picture of him and someone named Matson Tomlin. I don't know exactly. I don't know. I think he possibly did the cinematography for the first Batman film. But it is all but confirmed. Now I got a couple things I want to talk about specifically when it comes to this. And I'm going to reiterate them. Is it DCU? Or is it an Elseworld project? I 100% do think that this is going to be an Elseworld project. I know there's been a lot of things going on when it comes to the rumor of Robert Pattinson's Batman being part of the DCU. And even in a recent article that came out, I believe, Monday, a day after this news came out. And it was basically saying that they're not really convinced that Pattinson is not going to be in the DCU. It was reported right now, James Gunn has not read the script. Peter Safran has. I don't know when they're going to get this news out, because there's some conflicting reports regarding the DCU Batman where James Gunn gave comments about that. And I have a video. And go check that out about that. But I do think this is going to be an Elseworld project. It will be a missed opportunity if it isn't. Because I got a couple things that I want to see from this Batman that I think Matt Reeves can do, and that would feel more appropriate for his universe and his film, that I don't think would work in a DCU Batman, given what the world building that James Gunn is trying to create with the DCU. So here is my proposal for what I want in this upcoming Batman movie. You could probably say this is probably going to be similar to the 1992 Batman film, but not to what you guys might think. Number one, what I would like to see for this film, I would love to see it be Christmas themed. Okay, as I just stated, the last Christmas themed Batman movie, and I gave some thought about this, was the 1992 Batman film. You had Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, the Penguin, and I cannot get the actors' names off the top of my head, but you guys know who I'm talking about. It's been a very long time since I watched the film. But that's the last movie that I can recall has been in a Christmas type setting. Okay. That's what I would like to see, because it leans into a villain that I would love to see in the Batman universe, and that is Mr. Freeze. We have not really got a great representation of Mr. Freeze. In George Clooney's Batman film, Batman and Robin, he was in it, and he was played by Mr. Arnold Swole Guy himself. But I did not really like that movie, and a lot of people in the Batman fan base did not enjoy the film at all. So I would like for him to get a redo, more serious, because we know they leaned into the emotional aspect of Mr. Freeze, but not in a way that I would like. So this was a great opportunity, given Matt Reeves' storytelling ability, the way that he was able to catapult the Riddler into a very good villain. Given me personally, I am not the biggest fan of the Riddler and his tactics and his character. He's just like one of my least favorite characters in the villain gallery for the Batman. And Matt Reeves made a iteration of him that was very well done. If he could do that with Mr. Freeze, that would be amazing, because I enjoy Mr. Freeze. I love his backstory with his wife, Nora Freeze, the dynamic he has with Batman. He has, specifically in the Arkham games and in a couple of Batman the Animated Series episodes, he has a sort of anti-heroism in him and to his character. His character is very interesting. So I think Matt Reeves has the storytelling ability, and I think this Batman universe has the ability to maximize that story that possibly could not happen in the DCU. And I have two characters that I would be interested in to possibly be part of this story. And obviously one of those characters is somebody who's already set in the Batman universe in the Penguin. The actor who does him, he won an Emmy for, I don't know if the show won the Emmy or he won the Emmy for playing the character. I don't know the guy's name on top of my head. You'd think I should know. I know him. I just can't think of him on top of my head, but I'm not about to sit here and look it up. But he has done a phenomenal job with the Penguin. He leans on the street aspect of him, and Matt Reeves has wrote the Penguin character that way, and it is just exceptionally well done, to where I would love him to be in every single Batman film moving forward. Because we know that the Penguin and Mr. Freeze historically kind of tie in together in a lot of storylines in different types of Batman media that we have seen. If it's video games, the animated series, mostly not movies, just some cartoons. So we know that there are two characters that are historically have intertwined with each other when it comes to different aspects of Batman media and Batman lore. So I think the Penguin and Mr. Freeze is a very appropriate type of dynamic to have in the film. And another character that I would love to see, but he doesn't quite pair well like Penguin and Mr. Freeze does, but I just want to see him in live action. And given we've already seen him in live action, but I want to see him go up against the Dark Knight. And this guy is Killer Croc. I would love to see somebody do Killer Croc well. I could say that they could do Clayface in live action, but we're fixing to actually get a live action Clayface, so I left Clayface out of here. Because I would have honestly, if James Gunn wasn't making a Clayface, I would have loved to have seen Clayface possibly in this film over Killer Croc. But I like Killer Croc. He's one of my favorite Batman villains of Batman lore, just because him and Bane are the bigger characters and the brutes. And I love seeing Batman I've always enjoyed watching Batman try to not physically outmatch, but he has to outsmart them because he knows he cannot physically match their prowess. And I've always enjoyed that aspect of Killer Croc and Bane. We've already seen Bane multiple times, so I left Bane out of the list because Bane is arguably my top 3 favorite Batman villain. But we're just going to leave him out there just because we've seen him multiple times. So Killer Croc is a name I would love to see. Given that Matt Reeves has a history of, well, not the history, just with his film, he leans on the very dark and broody, and possibly he could bring out a horror dynamic to Killer Croc. That would be very interesting. I can really, especially specifically with the scene that we guys saw in the movie towards the end, where it was a scene where everything was dark and they were shooting at Batman in the hallway. Just imagine that scene, but in the sewer with Killer Croc jump scaring. Like, I think Matt Reeves could do that cinematography and just shoot it in the cinematography and have it done very well and just super efficient. So them are characters that I would like to see in the movie. But overall, the script is complete. We are just pretty much waiting to see if this is going to be the DCU's Batman going forward and Robert Pattinson's Batman, or James Gunn is going to stick to his word, and this is just a continuation of, well, not a continuation, just the beginning of his Elseworld Projects universe, whatever he would like to call it. That is all I got for that. There's not really much to say anymore. We're just gotta wait, pretty much gotta wait for information. There are reports going around talking about, after Robert Pattinson's filming Dune, the third Dune movie, he's supposed to start filming Batman after that, or it was before. It's somewhere in like 2026 they start filming. But we still got a good minute to go until this film is possibly released. I would more than likely anticipate I don't know why I just said more than likely twice, but I would expect a 2028 release in March, because I think the last film released in 2022 in March. So I would probably expect the same timeline, a 2028 March release date. I think that's more appropriate. That is 2.5 years away. Plenty of time to shoot it, get it edited, and out to the public. What do you guys think of my proposal? Do you like it? Do you disagree with it? I want to know all of your comments down below. And more importantly, is Robert Pattinson's Batman going to be in the DCU? Or is he going to be in his own Elseworld project? I want to know all of your comments down below. Moving on to the next topic. I saw the clip, and I don't know what type of event it was at, but it was pretty much Tyrese Gibson, Vin Deisel, and Paul Walker's brother was at the event. And Vin Deisel was on stage talking to the fans, and he pretty much confirmed that the final, I guess he had a proposal for the final film of the Fast and Furious franchise. He went on to say it had to be held in Los Angeles. It had to feature back to the original street racing aspect of the film and not the spy stuff. And lastly, the most important thing, they want to bring back Paul Walker. And in this tweet, it says, Vin Deisel says Paul Walker's character Brian will return in the final Fast and the Furious movie. I expected this because if of course, us movie fans and fans of the Fast and Furious franchise, this was teased in, I believe, the 9th film. They were at Toretto's house, the Toretto household, and we saw the famous Nissan GTR pull into the driveway at the house. So it has been teased that this was going to happen. So this news is not really shocking to me at all, because it can be done, given, Paul Walker tragically passed away during filming Fast and Furious 7. So his brother had to go in there and finish out the film, and they did CGI for his face, and we couldn't really tell. They did a good job with that. So first of all, let's just go ahead and just say it right now. It's a great idea. Honestly, I 100% support the idea. I know there's probably a lot of people out there in the media space who would possibly disagree with me, given a lot of people are really much against the AI generated type stuff and CGI when it comes to deceased people, bringing them back in movies. But for me, Paul Walker and his character Brian O'Connor was pretty much the lifeline of this franchise. I know people like to make it out to seem Vin Diesel is. Obviously, over time, Vin Diesel has become the heart and soul of the franchise. But majority of the fan base, and I can speak for a majority of the fan base, if you like, this is my favorite proposal and just scenario to bring up. If you put 10 people in a row and ask them the question, who do you think is the lifeline and the heart and soul of the Fast and Furious franchise? 6 to 7 to possibly 8 of them out of the 10 would say Brian O'Connor, Paul Walker's character, is the heart and soul of the Fast and Furious franchise. The first couple of films revolved around his story, specifically the first one. And every single scene that Paul Walker was in, it was just mesmerizing to watch him on film. He to this day is still one of my favorite fictional characters, and it's just 100% to just put him in there because this. And I know I know I was going to say this last, but I'm gonna go ahead and just state it now. This should be the final Fast and the Furious film. Okay. I've loved the franchise, and for me, the actors are getting older. There's not much story left to really tell. It's been very evident in the last couple of Fast and the Furious films. With 9 and 10, it's just been a nosedive when it just comes to storytelling and characters. Did not really care for. I mean, Jason Momoa did a good job with his role. It just did not feel like a Fast and the Furious movie to me. He just didn't feel like a Fast and the Furious villain, like Jason Statham and everybody else did. The guy who was the villain in Fast and the Furious 6. It just didn't feel like a Fast and the Furious type villain. And even in 9, John Cena, I just couldn't take him seriously. So I just really do think that they're running out of ideas, and we know the food stuff. I think the 9th movie, they went into space with a car. The really crazy stuff that they do in these movies now with the stunts that look super unrealistic. You got a car. The 9th movie as well with them, the bridge breaks and they pretty much used the car and swung on the other side of a rock and a mountain. It's just. It's getting a little out of hand. So I think this should be the final film. And having Paul Walker in this movie, I 100% support it. Because it's the final film. And he is the heart and soul of the Fast and Furious franchise. And I only deem it appropriate that he's in this movie. And has some type of presence in it. Now, however, I know currently, they're saying that him and Mia are just not doing anything right now with them because of, him growing up a family. So currently he is still alive in this universe. So there's no really any type of crazy plot stuff that they have to do in order to bring back Paul Walker into the story. But more importantly, in order for the film to be successful, just stop the unrealistic stunts. I don't want to see a car swing on the side of a mountain. I don't want to see dirt bikes flipping in the air and it falls and she doesn't fall off the car. She just falls perfectly forward like she did in the 9th movie. I don't want to see a car flying in space. I don't want to see Dominic Toretto drive a car up the dam like he did in the 10th movie. I don't want to see none of that. I just want to see realistic stunts. I don't want to see no foolishness. Make it nostalgic. I'm talking about the movie. Make the movie nostalgic. Make it memorable. And more importantly, make it satisfying to the fans and make it a satisfying conclusion to a beloved and forever iconic movie franchise. That is my thoughts on the Fast and the Furious. And what do you guys think? Should he bring back Paul Walker? Do you think it's a great idea? I want to know all of your comments down below. That is it for the pop culture portion of the podcast. And we are going to get to the good stuff. A crazy trade happened Monday. Today is Wednesday. It was 2 days ago. And I was very shocked because Jalen Ramsey at first wanted to say that he wanted to still be in the West Coast. And I didn't really think this team was an option. So Jalen Ramsey was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm going to give the full compensation for him. The article states that the Miami Dolphins have agreed to trade 3-time All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey and tight end Giannis Smith to the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for 3-time All-Pro himself, safety Minkah Fitzpatrick, and a pick swap. All right. When I first originally made this topic and I was just thinking about what to say, I originally wrote down like the Steelers, this was a bad trade. But I went to thinking. Honestly, this was pretty much a really okay move for the Dolphins because they got rid of, the conversation was essentially the Steelers got Jalen Ramsey and Giannis Smith. Jalen Ramsey, at this point in his career, he's just a tad washed. I don't like to use the term washed, but Jalen Ramsey has been a little washed. He's not played his best ball the last couple of years at all. Giannis Smith, who is a sleeper tight end. He played very well last year towards the end of the season, and I love that pickup for the Steelers, pairing him with Pat Freiermuth. That is going to be a great 1-2 tandem for Aaron Rodgers. So this is the first point. The Steelers, they're making a run for it. They got Aaron Rodgers. They supplied him a offensive weapon. I'm sure they're not going to be done. I know they're probably going to try and address the wide receiver position. But you got them 2 tight ends. You got 2 great tight ends, a great tight end tandem. You still got DK Metcalf on the outside. We are going to wait and see what they're going to do to address the wide receiver position. And then they're pretty much setting it up as like, Aaron Rodgers, what are you going to do? And defensively, with adding Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay is already there. You got the young corner in Joey Porter Jr. So Jalen Ramsey does not need to be the number 1 guy. You still got Darius Slay. Joey Porter Jr. is your young stud. He's tall, lanky. He is obviously going to be on the outside, so maybe Jalen Ramsey could possibly get some looks on the inside. But I didn't really like the move for the Dolphins, and I'm gonna talk to it in detail later. But pretty much they swapped Giannis Smith for he just came out of retirement. I don't know why I'm over here got a Lord. I can't even think of him. Hold on. He just came out of retirement today, and I just cannot think of his name. I don't know why. But anyways, they pretty much swapped him. And here we go. Darren Waller. I don't know why I couldn't even think of it. They pretty much swapped him and Darren Waller. Darren Waller is coming out of retirement. When he was in Oakland, he had a ceiling there to where he was considered a top 3 tight end, but he's had some off the field issues going on, so that inevitably got him traded from the Raiders. He went to New York. He was there for a year, if I'm not mistaken. Retired, wanted to pursue a music career, and now all of a sudden, as of yesterday, he comes out of retirement and he is now part of the Miami Dolphins. So essentially flip-flopped him, but I would have rather had Giannis Smith because he's more focused on football at the moment. And Darren Waller, I don't like to say this term, but he's got a lot of baggage going on with him. Another reason why I don't like it for the Dolphins is I looked at their cornerback position group right now, and it is horrifically bad. Obviously, Xavier Rhodes is not there anymore. Or was it Xavier? Not Xavier Rhodes. Xavier Howard. He is not there no more because of he had off the field stuff also. And Jalen Ramsey is gone. So them 2 guys, they were supposed to be one of the best cornerback duos, but they never really lived up to that hype. And after this, the Dolphins do not have anybody. I don't know what they were doing in the front office. If I was the GM of the Miami Dolphins, I would have at least, and I bring his name up, I would have at least got Joey Porter Jr. He's going into his 3rd year or second. I want to say this is his 3rd year. He's going into his 3rd year. Young guy, tall, lanky, plays on the outside. He's got a very bright future and a bright career ahead of him. He's got some things to work on when it comes to his game, but still, it would have been a great just Get something. You gave away your cornerback. Get another cornerback in return because they already had Darius Slay. So it's not like you're hanging it's not like the Pittsburgh Steelers were just hanging out to dry. You know? So you should have at least got Joey Porter Jr. off their hands. That's just terrible management in my opinion. Yeah, so this is the trade. But this puts a lot of pressure, and this is going to be the talk of all offseason. This is putting a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers. They're throwing the Rooney family, they're throwing all their chips into the table for you. The same thing like the Jets did. The Jets gave you everything. The defense was elite, even though this past year, in the second year, they played nowhere near as good as they did the first year you were there, and they when you got hurt. And when you were off the field, they were fantastic. And the next year, when you were on the field, did not play nowhere near as good. But still, it's the same sentiment. You got Devontae Adams. You got all these guys. Alan Lazard, Breece Hall at running back. Decent, not the best of line, but it was still decent and doable. They're giving you the keys to the Ferrari, and they're saying again the same thing that the Jets did. The same thing that the Jets did. The Steelers are doing it. They're saying, Aaron Rodgers, here's the key to the car. You drive it, take us to the promised land. I can argue that's possibly not the best idea, and that's not the best thing to do, but still. And the Eagles and a lot of teams are very successful in doing this. You make moves in order to win. You got to make moves in order to win. The Steelers have done that. I know they've been getting a lot of slack for giving up a lot of players. Minkah Fitzpatrick. And I know that's what I was over here sitting here thinking. I was over here forgetting what I wanted to say. You traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick, but I know you swapped Jalen Ramsey for Minkah Fitzpatrick, but you didn't need a safety. I know you got rid of Javon Holland, but you needed to fill in that cornerback position. I would have rather you could have still got Minkah Fitzpatrick, but I would at least have seen if I could have got Joey Porter. But I digress. That's neither here nor there. But defensively, outside of them losing Minkah Fitzpatrick, but I don't think it's going to be a horrible killer move unless something else happens. We're going to get to that in the next topic. But the defense is the steel curtain. They're the reason why the Steelers has and Mike Tomlin has been able to have the winning record still a thing now. You know, he's had that little record where he's never had a losing season. It's only been alive because of that defense. So the defense is fine. But offensively, it has been the Achilles heel for the Steelers. So they're setting this up with this move to get Giannis Smith and to get DK Metcalf. You got Aaron Rodgers, running back room, even though you got rid of Najee Harris, it is still doable. And they're saying Aaron Rodgers go win a ball game. I love the trade for the Steelers because they got to compete in the division with Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. It is going to take a lot to beat those two quarterbacks. Given their rosters, and before this trade happened, you can argue that both of them teams were better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now with this move, if the Steelers can make another move and get a wide receiver, a bona fide outside receiver to pair up with DK Metcalf, who's not to say the Steelers could be able to make some noise? Now I know a lot of people have been. A lot of people in media have been just stating Steelers are going to be a Super Bowl contender. I do not think that at all. Because this is something that you got to really think about. With adding Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay, getting rid of Minkah, you got a little older, really old roster. Especially defensively, Cam Hayward's getting a little old. Jalen Ramsey's on the wash side. Darius Slay, he stays hurt. He's in the latter part of his career too. You're getting older. You didn't really get younger with the trade. So I think the Steelers could possibly, and I stated this in the last video. I think if they can win one playoff game, something they have not done in a very, very long time. I think it's been almost 10 years since they won a playoff game. It might set up the opportunity for Aaron Rodgers and them to say run it back. But that's getting far off topic. Jalen Ramsey trade, I give it a B+ move. The Dolphins, they get a D because this was just a horrible move for the Dolphins. You didn't really get positive compensation back for giving up a very key position and all-pro future Hall of Famer corner in Jalen Ramsey. What do you guys think? Did the Pittsburgh Steelers win the trade, or did the Miami Dolphins win the trade? I want to know all of your comments down below. And I know I teased it in the latest topic, but we're going to move on to this next portion of the topic, okay? Mr. TJ Watt. After the trade happened with Jalen Ramsey and Minkah Fitzpatrick, Mr. TJ Watt found his way into the news. And Adam Schefter is reporting. In recent weeks, multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for Steelers standout TJ Watt, who skipped the team's most recent minicamp because of his contract negotiations. Pittsburgh hasn't shown any willingness to deal with Watt so far, but he's unhappy with his contractual situation, and sources believe outside team interest is likely to increase given the Jalen Ramsey trade. Look, Pittsburgh, pay the man. I mean, seriously. He is the best edge rusher in the league. He's better than Michael Parsons, and this is coming from a Cowboys fan, so you know this is unbiased. He's the best edge rusher in the league. He's better than Michael Parsons, and he's better than Myles Garrett. He's better than Max Crosby, and he's better than Nick Bosa. I will die on that hill. TJ Watt is a special talent, a future Hall of Famer. He jumps off of the screen every single Sunday. He's relatively available every Sunday. I know specifically this past season, I think he had some pec problems with a torn pec. But outside of that, TJ Watt 9 times out of 10 is on the football field. And I got the numbers as of right now. All of these players are getting paid more than TJ Watt. When I think TJ Watt is a top 2, if not the best defender in the league. Myles Garrett just got paid $40 million. Max Crosby just got paid $35.5 million. Nick Bosa, $34 million. Chris Jones, $31 million. Derek Stingley just got paid $30 million. Josh Hines-Allen, another edge rusher, $28 million. Brian Burns, $28.2 million. And then there's TJ Watt at $28 million. So you're sitting here telling me Brian Burns, who plays the same position as him, is higher than him. Josh Allen, who plays the same position, higher than him. Nick Bosa, same position, higher than him. Max Crosby, same position, higher than him. And then Myles Garrett. He is the 6th highest paid player at his position. It's unacceptable. Jesus, the man is literally single-handedly the only reason why that win streak is even relevant. Because who's in that backfield on third down? TJ Watt. Who's stopping the run on first down? TJ Watt. They game plan for the guy. Teams offensively go in and say, in the offensive meetings, for the offensive linemen, running backs, for the blocking scheme, do not let number 90 wreck the game. That player, given all the accolades he's won so far in his career, given that he is universally recognized in sports, in the media space, as one of the top 3 best defensive players in the game, he should be paid among one of the highest. Zach Martin did the same thing with the Cowboys. He had a pay cut for the longest time. And then a couple of years ago, before he retired, I think it was his second last year, he demanded a pay raise. He's like, look, dude, I'm one of the best guards in the league, and I'm out here getting paid chump change compared to some of these dudes. And the Cowboys gave him his money. Pittsburgh, give the man his money. He just deserves it. Now he's not getting traded. Now let's just get the trade rumors out of the way. The Pittsburgh Steelers would do the dumbest thing that they could possibly do in the history of their franchise. You just got Jalen Ramsey. You're trying to load up the team right now for Aaron Rodgers. You loaded up the defense to a certain degree, getting help in the secondary, which is, one can argue, they've been their weak link for for a majority of many years. They live or die by their front seven. And their secondary is what majority of the time gets them killed because, Mika Fitzpatrick plays safety, but they were getting killed at the cornerback position. If you just made that move to get Jalen Ramsey and all of a sudden trade away TJ Watt, it would just be what was the point? Who would you rather have right now, Jalen Ramsey or TJ Watt on your team? All 32 GMs will sit there and say TJ Watt in a heartbeat. Wouldn't even think twice about it. Because we all know how hard it is to find an edge rusher in this game. It's hard. It's very hard to have an elite edge rusher in the NFL and to find one. And in the Steelers' case, they got a guy who is going to be a future first ballot Hall of Famer. And you're not going to pay the guy his money. He's getting paid $28 million now. The next guy who is right now currently the highest paid, Myles Garrett, he's at $40 million. You can't throw the man an extra $12 million. It's $12 million. You got it. Come on, Rudy family. Quit being cheap. But TJ Watt is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's not. He's not getting traded. Unless, possibly, and I would entertain it just a little bit, but still I wouldn't. If a team is dumb enough to possibly 33 first-round picks for him, I would entertain it. 2 first-round picks and then a second or something like that. Then I would entertain it, but still. TJ Watt is a person that you would possibly try and flirt around getting rid of in maybe like another year or two. But for right now, given you got Aaron Rodgers, we know Aaron Rodgers is not going to be there no more than 2 years. At the most 2 years. I'd give him a ride. Just see what he can do. And see what this group fully loaded can do and see if they can make some noise in the AFC North. What do you guys think? Should they trade TJ Watt? Do they need to pay him? Obviously, I think they should pay him, man. I want to know all of your comments down below. Moving on to our final topic of the day, we're going to talk some NBA. LeBron James, the NBA free agency has started. There's a lot of big moves being made already. And this one made headlines over the weekend, and I was able to talk with my cousin because, me and him know ball. He's a big LeBron fan. We had to talk about it just a little bit. So pretty much, LeBron James opted into his $52 million player option. He could have declined it, got a contract extension, or he could just opt into it and just take $56 million or 52 million or 56. Who knows? It was over $50 million. And he done it. But just when you think it was just LeBron James committing and possibly retiring, committing to the Lakers, there are reports that came out right after that LeBron wants to compete for a championship next season, this upcoming season. But it is uncertain. He is uncertain of the Lakers roster moving forward, per NBA reporter for ESPN, Shams Charania. He is evaluating now how he wants to end his career. And it was very interesting. Me and my cousin got to talking about this, and I was sitting there okay. Obviously, it's $50+ million. You want your money, right? If LeBron truly wanted to still be with the Lakers, he would have declined that option, and I think he would have signed a contract extension with the Lakers. If he was very confident that this was the team that could possibly win him a championship, I think LeBron would have declined that option. He would have been satisfied just being with the Lakers for the rest of his career. But given that he accepted this, he opted into this, to the contract for 1 year. So this is all he's got left on his contract. We might be able to have at least possibly more than just 1 year of LeBron James basketball. Because I'm going to tell you right now, as presently constructed and as free agency is currently doing right now, he is not winning on the Los Angeles Lakers. You can just rip it up, rip the idea up, throw it in the trash can, because he's not winning on the Lakers. I really do not like the tandem with him and Luka to a certain degree. I mean, it works, but Luka's very ball dominant. LeBron is to a certain degree as well. And I just don't like their chemistry and the way they mesh on the basketball court. I would more prefer a LeBron James with a big man like AD or a point guard with somebody like Kyrie. That's my ideal LeBron. I just don't two ball dominant guys like Luka and LeBron James. I'd never fell in love with it. They just lost Dorian Finney-Smith to free agency. Maybe if they get a big man, possibly. They lost out on Mark Williams. He went to the Phoenix Suns. And that's presently constructed in the way the West and how free agency is going so far with the Rockets, the Nuggets that have been loading up, the Mavericks just drafted Cooper Flagg. It's not looking very likely for him to make any noise and possibly win a championship with the Los Angeles Lakers. So, and I can argue this as well. On the Lakers, right now, LeBron's got to be Superman. And this has been the problem that's been going on when AD was there. And that's possibly the reason why they traded AD. AD is too inconsistent. Now, this past season, he was more consistent than what he usually is. But since they've won the championship, after they've won the championship, AD has been too inconsistent. And they put the cape on LeBron James and said, go win me the ball game. At LeBron James's age and at LeBron James's health, he cannot do that for 82 games plus the playoffs. Those days are over with. Now, LeBron James is still a top 5 to 6 player in basketball right now at his age. And there's no doubt about it. But when it comes to him needing to play Superman like he did when he was on the Cleveland Cavaliers back in 2015, 2016, those 82 games and during that whole playoff run put the team on his back. Those days are gone. That's not happening. So LeBron James on the Lakers, he cannot be your number one guy. And that could be Luka Doncic, but I just don't like the fit. So we're going to move into some teams that I think would be very interesting for LeBron James to be traded to. The first team would be the Golden State Warriors. LeBron James' name has been thrown around to the Golden State Warriors for a majority of years. I've always, and we love to see it when we've seen it in the Olympics and the All-Star game. Steph Curry playing with LeBron James. It has been a sight to see. And him getting traded to the Golden State Warriors, I know they might possibly have to give up Jimmy Butler, but I don't see a scenario why they would. Because I think they just gave Jimmy Butler a contract extension, if I'm not mistaken, anyways. But LeBron James and Steph Curry, I love that dynamic way more than Luka and LeBron. Point guard, Curry's not ball dominant. We know Curry is off the ball. LeBron James can literally facilitate, set up Curry for his off-ball three-pointers. It would work very well. He's not going to be the bat. He's not going to have to wear the cape. Steph Curry can still wear the cape. Draymond Green going to be the defensive presence. Get some young guys around the team with Steve Kerr. That could be a great recipe for LeBron to possibly win another championship. The next couple of teams, we're going to go to the East because we know the East is not as stacked as the West is. My first team would be the New York Knicks. Jalen Brunson's already there. We know he's Superman. Cat's there. Slide in LeBron James. We don't know what they're going to have to give up to get LeBron James. Maybe Mikal Bridges. I don't know. I would have made that trade. I would definitely trade away Mikal Bridges for LeBron James. I would. Slide him into that lineup. Very competent team. I like it. I love the move. I love that. I love that dynamic with Jalen Brunson and LeBron. LeBron has not got to be the Superman. And I'm not going to keep reiterating the Superman part. Just know with all these teams, LeBron James is not going to have to be the number one option. He's just going to be able to relax some nights, let somebody else eat, and let him just facilitate. And when the postseason gets here, his body is fresh, and he's able to compete at a high level. So the Knicks would be a great option as well. Another team, Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. The center, I cannot think of his name or the power forward, Mobley, who just won Defensive Player of the Year. He's there. Great bench. I know he probably don't want to go back to Cleveland. He probably wants to go to a different team to possibly win a championship. But Cleveland wouldn't be mad at it. It's in the East. We know the Celtics are going to be depleted. The Pacers are depleted. So it is open up right now. The East is really ideally, if LeBron James was wanted to get traded somewhere and possibly win a championship, the East is going to be his best bet. The Celtics are crippled right now. The Pacers lost Halliburton for the next season. The Bucks are going to be without Giannis. They got rid of Damian Lillard. We'll talk about that in the next episode of the Alpha Podcast as well. So really right now, the Knicks is in prime position right now. Cleveland, Orlando. Hey, LeBron. I would try out the East, in my opinion. But we can go back to the West, okay? The Minnesota Timberwolves is another team. Got Naz Reid, Julius Randle, and we know the man is there, Anthony Edwards. It would be a good fit. We've been throwing around Kevin Durant's name there for the Timberwolves, so why not throw in LeBron James? They play the same position. They don't have the same play style, but LeBron James, he's a facilitator. He can defer to Anthony Edwards. He can let Anthony Edwards run the show. That would be a great fit. Another team, because I really thought if adding Cooper Flag would have been interesting, although I think this team more than likely gives him the least chance to possibly win a championship out of all these teams. The San Antonio Spurs. You got De'Aaron Fox, who I love. I love Swipe the Fox. I think he's a great and horribly underrated point guard. When he was with the Sacramento Kings, not last year, but the year before in the playoffs with the Warriors, he was just a walking 30 bomb waiting to happen every night. He was sensational. Victor Wembanyama, hopefully he gets the health issues figured out. You still got Stephon Castle. You just drafted Dylan Harper. So they got some potential, but I don't think that it's the best team to win a championship with. And they are in the West. If the Spurs were in the East, and if this was a team constructed in the East, I would be like, oh, no brainer. But they're in the West, and I just don't think it's the best option to win a championship. And the final team, the Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flag. You can go back with AD. Kyrie's going to be there as well. They just got D'Angelo Russell, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively. I think that might be it. I think they got another big player as well. I love that. Adding LeBron James on that team. Now, it had to be a trade, so we don't know what they're going to have to give up. Especially with all these teams, we got to put in consideration that they're going to have to give up something to get LeBron James. So who knows that, Kyrie might, they might have to give up a Kyrie Irving. They're not getting rid of Cooper Flag, but who knows? We're just hypothetically just playing with the scenario of LeBron James being on their roster. Anthony Davis, Cooper Flag, Kyrie, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, the whole crew is on there. That team is a very much probably a title favorite in my opinion. So my favorite ones on this list, if I had to pick, would be the Mavericks. Maybe I would say Golden State, Cleveland, and New York. To me, I think the Wolves and the Spurs are my least favorite because I really think LeBron might want to still be in a bigger market. The Wolves and Spurs, not big markets. Dallas is a big market. Golden State is a big market. New York is a big market. Cleveland, not really a big market, but it would make storylines because he's from Cleveland. He won a championship for Cleveland, and he's possibly going to win them another championship. Those are my teams, and those are my best four options. My number one option for me would be Dallas. I would say number 2 would be the Knicks. Number 3 would be Golden State, and number 4 would be Cleveland. The reason why I put Cleveland number 4, when you could arguably put it higher, I just don't like LeBron going back to Cleveland. I would like to see him go somewhere else and possibly win a championship for a market like the New York Knicks. The Dallas Mavericks, I'd rather see that. And just a pairing of the players alongside them as well. But right now, as I'm currently making this video, it has been reports that LeBron James really doesn't have a trade market. Nobody has really like an idea of giving up a couple of players and some picks for a 42-year-old who is still playing high-level basketball, still a top 5 player in the league, but still. You're getting a 1 to 2 year rental with LeBron James, whoever gets him and trades for him. So a lot of people may not deem it smart to give up significant capital for a short rental that might jeopardize the franchise for the future to come. So we're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out. But these are my teams, and these are my thoughts on the future of LeBron James in the NBA and the future of LeBron James with the Los Angeles Lakers. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. This has been the final topic of the Alpha Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, I thank you guys for my continued support on the podcast. Continue to give me any feedback. I know you guys could tell with the graphics that I've been updating some stuff and trying to improve and make it better for you guys. But continue to send me the feedback of what you want to see, what you want to see me improve on, and things of that nature, and possibly what you want to see me talk about. Thank you guys for joining me. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on the next episode of that Alpha Podcast. I will not see you. I'll probably see you guys Friday, so I'll wish y'all guys a 4th of July then. I'll try and have y'all show out by then. I love you guys so much. Peace, love, and positivity always, and I'll see you guys on the next show. See ya.